Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. starting June 5th.
The views and opinions in the following show do not necessarily reflect that of this station or its ownership.
Welcome to the Pat and Wally Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons, with my co-host and friend, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hello, Chicago.
We're having a great show today on WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We're going to have a great guest, Lynn Franco of the 8th Ward GOP Committeewoman. It's going to be her third time on the show. We love Lynn Franco. It's called the Lynn Trifecta. A little bit in the news. You know, Chicago is the town of death and taxes. Everybody knows Chicago shouldn't have to live in fear as radical leftists, soft on criminals policies destroy the once great city. At least 37 people were shot, 3 of them fatally, Friday into Sunday afternoon across Mayor Bozo Johnson's city. Lynn Franco is going to be on the show in a moment, but I want to briefly say this. This mayor has no clue in what he is doing. The most incompetent mayor next to Lori Lightfoot. What do you think about that, Wally?
He needs to go.
He needs to go. One-term mayor, over and done. What we need is more conservatism in this city. We need more law and order in this city. That being said, we're going to go to a patriot that knows a lot about law and order, Ms. Lynn Franco. Lynn, what do you hear? What do you say? Is she on the...
Good afternoon, Patrick and Wally. I am very honored to be among two great patriots myself, as you two are. Oh. And we need more sharp young men who are determined to help save our city. Chicago is worth saving. Illinois is worth saving. We can do it.
Hello,
We've got
Lynn.
to get the vote out. We've got to reach the voters, the conservative voters.
Amen. Amen. And we need more conservative-minded folks on the ballots. We need more.
Exactly.
We need more leadership that's conservative-minded. Unlike Bully Bolton, the Chicago chair of the GOP. And
we definitely need. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, we got a caller right away, Lynn. Joe from Elmwood Park. Hey, Joe, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how you guys doing? Great show. Hi, Wally.
Hey,
Hi,
how's
Pat.
it going, Joe?
Good. Hey, I know it's a little off topic, but I'm still hoping to keep this in the media, and you guys are doing a good. The cocaine in the White House. Who's buying that story? Whose is it? Is it yours?
I bet you it's Hunter Biden.
Hey, you know, I don't think there's no Joe. I don't think there's no coincidence that Hunter Biden visited the White House and then all of a sudden there's cocaine. They don't call the White House for nothing. You know what I mean? Now they don't.
No, and they found marijuana. It's come out over the weekend. They're trying to keep quiet. They found marijuana twice in there, too. Whose marijuana is it?
Exactly. And the Secret Service has no clue where it came from. Yeah.
No clue. They're inept or incompetent or crooked. I mean, how could they not know whose it is? It's somebody's.
Right.
Did you just bring anything in the White House and we're going to stand for this? And the media is going to be quiet about it?
Of course.
If they found cocaine or marijuana in my car, what would happen?
Exactly. We would go straight to jail. That's why we have a
I just hope you guys keep talking about it. Maybe if you talk about it 5 minutes every show, this will get resolved or it won't happen again.
We'll talk about it more, I assure you, Joe. I promise you that. Because what's happening is a travesty of justice.
Show, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
If I ever see you, I'll buy you a beer.
All right,
or
thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Just buy me a steak sandwich.
You're a good man. Heineken.
Beef sandwich?
Buy me a steak sandwich when you see me, bud.
Heineken for me.
I'll buy Wally a Bud Light.
Nah, no Bud Light for me. No Bud Lights.
I'll get you a beer.
Who else is there? Nikki?
No, Unfortunately, I'm working today. I'm on my knees. But I do carpet, so it ain't as bad as it sounds.
Cool. Thank you, Joe, for calling.
Take care, Joe.
Thanks, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, what's going on in the White House is basically this.
You're crazy. Crazy, am I?
Crazy.
We'll see whether I'm crazy or not.
Pure lunacy, you know? Cocaine all of a sudden found in the Situation Room, and the Secret Service has no clue. Get out of here with that baloney, you know?
Yeah, true.
And
Well, yesterday, I just want to say I saw an interview on Maria Bartiromo's show. She interviewed Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, and they mentioned Donald mentioned the fact that he knew Teddy Kennedy pretty well, in the past, and that they were kind of friends. And he said that once he asked Teddy Kennedy, who was the dumbest senator, and Teddy Kennedy told him Joe Biden. and he was serious when he said that, and now we're beginning to see this. Dumb, but smart enough to be able to take advantage of that office for his own personal gain. This is so sad. This area that we have entered, that we have found ourselves in America, the lawlessness and the depravity that the left is trying to push on us. See, they're trying. It's like this. They're desperate, so they're making one great big last push to try and push anything terrible on us. They're trying to bully us, and we have to stand up. All we have to do is stand up, because it's not like like they're more leftist. Even some Democrats are beginning to see that something is wrong. You saw that former Democratic Congresswoman, her last name is Maynard. Last week she left the Democratic Party and she has stepped on the side of the GOP.
God bless her.
Because she said that is not the party for them. She wants children to have their parents to have school choice. She tried to get a bill through for $7,500 per child for vouchers to be able to go to the schools that they want. If the schools in their neighborhood, are not up to par with the other schools, and they wouldn't back her. So she said she'd had enough. Everything she tries to do for her constituents, the Democratic Party would not back her, and she says now she is a GOP. She's a Republican. So some people are waking up and they're getting away from the liberals, the Democrats, because they see how dangerous it is. They finally see that there's some real madness out there working.
True.
And some sick people.
Walter, if you had to pick one word for the Democratic Party, what would that be?
They're a bunch of malakas.
There you go. Well said. Lynn, what is going on with the Chicago GOP? I just don't understand. There's a lot of rhinoism going on in the Chicago GOP. Last I heard, there was a meeting, right?
Yes, there was a Zoom meeting last week, okay. And one of the issues, one of the topics that became an issue was regarding precinct committeemen as opposed to ward committeemen in the city. Now, in the suburbs, their committeemen are delegated by precincts. In the city, it's by wards. Mm-hmm. And so there was a proposition to sue, because now this was the first time I had really, that I was informed about this. So I don't have 100% of the facts, but everything I'm going to tell you, I stand by. Now, according to what was read last week at the meeting, precinct committeemen, they need only 5% of the votes of their constituents. Say, for example, that if it's a Republican committeeman, say in Oak Forest, and there are like 1,000 Republicans. I'm just saying, given a number. Of course, there's more, I would think, in Lake Forest. And that means that precinct committeemen only need like maybe 5% of those votes to be elected. Mm-hmm. Whereas they were saying that in the city, the ward committeeman has to have 10% of the voter constituency of his party, and they wanted to go to court about that. So thank goodness most people said no. you don't have to have launch a lawsuit over everything. There's some issues can be straightened out, and so
I think that's the problem. Sorry to interrupt. I think that's the problem of having a lawyer that's the head of the Chicago GOP like Steve Bolton. All he thinks about at the end of the day, let's sue. I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
his mindset. I'll sue him. He'll probably sue me at the end of the day. I don't know, but that's what he's good at. You know?
Yeah, and this also brings to mind some skepticism on my part, or maybe other committeemen's parts, as to why he's always quick to sue over an issue like that. And he was indicating that the lawsuit will be carried out through the law firm that he works for,
Okay.
and to me that's a conflict of interest.
What I don't like.
So anyway,
I was going to say what I don't like from lowering the 10% to the 5% within a ward. Let me get this straight. So within a prospective ward, let's say your ward had a 32% voting turnout. So based on that, 10% of the 32%, you have to get those signatures within your petition. And he wants to lower that to 5%. So if I'm getting this straight in my head, that means almost anyone can get on the ballot if we do it Bolton's way. Is that correct?
exactly. Yes.
Okay.
But the thing is, to be a ward committeeman, a Republican ward committeeman, we do have bylaws. And one of the bylaws is that any candidate who would like to be a committeeman, he would have to have voted during the last two primaries Republican.
Mm.
Yes.
And so this is how that goes. So there are other laws during the bylaws, but this is one that's important, and it makes sense. Anyone can all of a sudden, if they want to. You see, there are people who have become ward committeemen over the years, and they told me this themselves. This isn't anything new. They told me they switched from being a Democrat committeeman after they lost to applying to be a Republican committeeman because there's no competition, because there's so few blacks who were a committeeman in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and that's very, very it's disingenuous, of course, to say the least. And so we don't need those kind of people who are not conservative at heart.
I believe that rule. So basically, let me get this straight. If you haven't voted Republican in the last two elections, right? Primaries, that means
yes.
you're not allowed to be a committeeman for the Chicago GOP, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not allowed to be a Republican committeeman.
Right. Well, which is
I
good.
think it's twice, or is it 3 times?
Twice, and the last two times, because primaries are usually every 2 years, I believe.
Okay.
Because
4 years.
Every 4 years, because they coincide with the general election.
Yes, every 4 years.
Yes, so it's every 4 years. So then, and then I think that makes sense. That you have to that you can prove that you voted.
Right.
Twice.
I like that rule.
In the last two primaries, that goes to show that you do follow the conservative mores,
Exactly.
the laws and everything.
That's a good rule, because in the 31st Ward, I'm running for GOP committeeman, and I'm going against a guy. I'm going against a few people, but one of them is Esteban Burgoa. Esteban Burgoa is a lifelong Democrat. He's a socialist, and he is running against me, and he has voted Democrat his past primary. So I don't know why he's running. I think I know why, because he can't win against the 31st Ward alderman. His name is Felix Cardona. So he figures, since I can't win against Cardona, I'll go try to be a GOP committeeman. I mean, this guy is something else.
Yes. That's the mindset of a lot of them. Yes. These people who become committeemen and then Republican committeemen, and no way are they conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I hope you win, Patrick, and anything I can do to help you, I will.
And I'm going to help you out,
because
Lynn.
I mean, the thing is,
we're going to help Walter out too.
Yes.
In
Oh,
my
yes,
ward.
Walter. Of course, Walter.
In my ward is
and we can do this.
In my ward, the mayor lives in my ward.
Yeah, the Austin neighborhood.
The Austin district. Where right now they're flooding. The seniors want help. The mayor should step in and help these seniors out with all this flooding in Austin district. And also Galewood.
This mayor is in so deep. He's over his head. You know, he has no idea. So he's going to listen to the powers that be. And this is the same. This is like the same situation in Washington D.C. The deep state and the liberals, they realize it would be good to have someone in office like Joe Biden, who is suffering from dementia, and it's gotten to be so bad right now. You saw that on the world stage last week.
Right.
They figure it's good to have someone who is inadequate, and then they can run the show.
We're going to commercial break. That being said, we'll talk more about dementia Biden on the Pat and Wally Conservative Talk.
Can be frustrating.
Test 1, 2.
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the Multi-Format Network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We have a new conservative show on the airwaves, and it's called Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons. That being said, I'm going to pass the mic on to my friend and co-host, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how's everyone doing today? We're just going to talk about the future, about Chicago crime and the veterans in Chicago.
Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Conservative Talk Radio with Pat and Wally. Should be a great show. We look forward to your engagement. We'll be talking about safety issues in the city of Chicago, how our veterans need help and assistance, better needed care. And also, too, very importantly, we are going to talk about the Chicago mayor that needs to be called out. I'm Pat.
I'm Wally.
And this is Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. Tune in to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. starting June 5th.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblow, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract, and the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblolawoffice.com. Mark Sheblo can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblo, 773-775-5050.
On the Pat and Wally Conservative Talk on WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We would love to have another caller on the air. Our phone number is 877-711-5611. Again, 877-711-5611. We wish all of you a big hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Back with you, Lynn.
Hi.
Lynn, what can we do?
Yes,
What can we do to get real conservative candidates out there? What can we do? If there's a formula, if there's some sort of plan, how can, for instance, Steve Bolton says he's from the 32nd Ward, although Chris Cleveland, the former chair, said that it was remapped and he's in the 27th Ward. He keeps saying he's in the 32nd Ward. How can we get people that would run in the 32nd Ward and the 27th Ward so we can get rid of people like Steve Bolton once and for all? How can we do this?
You know, I think one idea would be to you have to have an event, first of all.
Okay.
You have to have groups of people and plan some events. And then I used to order books by conservative writers and Burgess Owens, David Shatoskas, at different people, and then I would hold meetings, and then these men would be there to either sign them in person, or they would have signed them before. And we talked to different people, whether it be field houses, churches. Church halls. We've got to start having events, and I'm thinking it would be nice to have an event maybe in the early fall. If we had an early fall event with maybe some with a couple of bands, a country western band,
okay,
a good old rock style band, bands that bring that type of music. A lot of conservatives, they like, and even other people if they would listen. But invite these type of, maybe invite a couple of bands like that, and you'll see. Now, who turns out for that? You'll have someone who has an open ear, an open mind. Then we have speakers that get up, say like you and Wally, Patrick, you and Wally, and a couple of committeemen like myself, or as many committeemen as you can get, and we talk about the things. We talk about kitchen table topics. Mm-hmm. This is what you talk about to the crowd, and said, Don't you want the old Chicago back? When we say old, we mean the safe Chicago, the Chicago where children were being taught math and science and English and being taught to read in school, where the stores open, where people are not allowed to go in and steal $1,000 worth of things. We have to lay these type of topics out, but you have to have the right situation type of room. Effect is what I'm saying, and I think it'll take some organizing, and not much organizing, but it'll take a little bit of money. But if we had like an event, a fall event, and somehow on the tickets or the flyers, they have to know it's being put on by conservatives. Mm-hmm. But everyone is welcome, and that we want our country back. We want our city back. Let it be something like that as the title. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Any way to get Steve the Bozo Bolton out, damn for it.
Yes. And then we should have an event right there where he's trying to run. We need to have these events, stage these events, in the wards where you're trying to unseat these rhinos.
Right. And I heard that Bob Fioretti...
Be right up in their face.
I heard that Bob Fioretti was at that meeting, too. It was just a rumor. But is this true?
His name was mentioned, but I didn't hear him say anything. And then
that's
that
you know why, Lynn? Lynn, that's because he never says anything. That's why. But I heard he was there.
Yeah, he never says anything. Yet the GOP went all out to help him run for office this last fall.
He's a political tool. That's exactly what he is. He was Wally, on the Democratic side, then he was on the Republican side. Bob Fioretti goes where the wind blows. He's not really a Republican.
Exactly. And this is what I don't understand is as to why the GOP, the Chicago GOP, they were so willing to help him. I mean, they did a lot to help him. You know, more than they did for the regular committeemen.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, I seen a video, Wally, Lynn. I seen a video where he's absolutely bear hugging Lori Lightfoot, like Lori Lightfoot is his buddy, Bob Fioretti.
Well, he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Yep, he's a Democrat. That's what that is. He's a Democrat, and it's just this is what I don't get about not just Steve Bolton, because there are people over him, like the state chairman Don Tracy, and then we have other members. You know, why is it that they give Steve like he has like a blank check, so to speak, or he can get away with a lot of stupid things if he wants to, you know, if he tries to. But I always try and make sure that I remind him what you're trying to do is not correct, and it won't fly. But I need more committeemen to stand up beside me. But I think some are beginning to listen, you know, to what I'm saying, you know, because I've been having my disagreements with him.
Right.
Because he's been very mean and disrespectful to me.
And we talked about that the last couple of shows, how he bullies you through the Chicago GOP Twitter or Facebook, what have you. It has been already written. And
emails. Yes,
right.
Because if you don't agree with him, you know, he tries to bully you, and I'm not having any of that.
Right.
I'm a real Chicagoan.
I know you are. I wanted the listeners to know, and this is very important, Steve Bolton was behind, so everyone knows who Steve Bolton is. He's the Chicago GOP chair, all right? And if you don't know the backstory of Steve Bolton, we did 2 previous shows with Miss Lynn Franco, and it'll tell you a great deal of Steve Bolton. So, Bolton, he was behind breaking down the Chicago GOP, right? Like we have Northwest Side GOP, we have West Side GOP, right. South.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yes. So tell the audience a little bit about that, how he broke the Chicago GOP down in different sections in the city.
Yes, he separated them when he was elected as chairman. This was a 2020, I believe. Yes. Then he that was his whole plan, was to separate the GOP, the Chicago GOP.
Okay.
He favors the Northwest Siders. They have more Republican constituents. They have a heavier weighted vote. But every committeeman has one vote. And then he started up a southeast side, southwest side. It made no sense. It made no sense. But that was his way, I think, of not having to be answerable to the people on the south side or the west side. If you have a chairman, he even appointed this one committeeman, Waylon Johnson, who had been eliminated when they had the Chicago purge back. I think that was 2016.
Okay.
Where when Chris Cleveland was the chair, you know, he tried to have these committeemen removed who were basically Democrats and had been voting Democrats.
Okay.
That's why we made sure that when the bylaws were rewritten after that one of the good points was that they have to have voted Republican during the last two primaries. Well, Waylon Johnson is basically a Democrat. You know, he only became a Republican committeeman because it was easier to get in. He even said this to me. But this man, Steve, decides to make the chairman of the South Side over me. Not that I even asked for anything like that, but someone like myself who has a newsletter, who really is a conservative, I have.
And talk about that newsletter,
my
Len.
own money.
What's the newsletter's name?
Excuse me?
The newsletter.
Oh, my newsletter, The Reminder. It's called The Reminder, and I've got to start getting it where it's more. Where it's more equally spread all over the city. It's a wonderful
Do you
newsletter.
have
It's a conservative
Facebook page?
publication.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, yes, I'm going to start just putting it there. I have a couple of Facebook pages. I really haven't been too active on them because I've just been doing other things. You know, I also work at a library.
Okay.
I've just been a pretty busy person over the last couple of years. There's been, there's a lot of personal things, deaths in the family. And so what I'm trying to say is, excuse me?
Lynn, what is the newsletter about exactly, the reminder? Well, what's...
Okay, the reminder, I called it that because I want people in the city of Chicago, especially South Siders and some West Siders, to realize what Chicago and America was about. You'd be surprised. A lot of these people don't even know that blacks had big businesses in Chicago, like Johnson Publishing, or that we had the 1.5 black-owned banks, Independence, Seaway, Guaranty, Drexel. I always forget that's one. It'll come to mind. Chicago at one point had the most black millionaires than any other city in the nation, and this was like during the 60s.
Oh, wow.
60s and the 70s. And yes, we had wonderful businesses. And then you had great teachers. And for example, I used to, in my newsletter, I will offer articles written by Thomas Sowell from some of his books, Walter Williams, the late Walter Williams, Shelby Steele. There are some great black thinkers out there, conservative thinkers out there that a lot of people don't. These names are not household names like Jesse Jackson,
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons that's one of the reasons that I try and make sure that I provide first class articles and opinions in my newsletter.
Okay.
Like one of the contributors is Larry Nazinik, and he is pretty good with what's going on as far as Veterans Affairs and as far as what the city does with red lights, with signs, with red lights and with the cameras, and like for example, there is a program where it's an extension by CTA where they're building some more bike lanes, and some of this will take place also on private streets. So anyway, I'm going to have that published in the June-July issue. But my newsletter is geared towards waking people up in the city to realize there are many views, and one of the best views that I can think of is the truth. People need to have facts. Because the media does not inform the people. The mainstream media purposely does not inform the American citizens of what's going on. They're part of the plot to overtake America. I won't even say overtake. We're in a position where our country is being threatened. From outside sources. The outside sources are paying the money to these Americans who are. Who have sold their countries out. These are traitors. We have a lot of traitors here.
It's funny you say that, Lynn.
You see that
Lynn, it's funny you say that.
Yes.
Me and Wally was talking about this before the show. Illegals is coming back into the police stations, left and right. Isn't that true, Wally?
Yes, that's correct.
You never know. The measles outbreak might come back. We hope that doesn't happen. But yes, they're flooding our police stations once again. This is sick.
And then with that money, all that money that we spend on illegals, we should help out the veterans.
Right. And the poor people.
See, that's a part that by opening up that wall and opening up the southern border and allowing these people in, this invasion is part of the plot to destroy America.
Yes.
You know, America had this basically was a conservative country. It turned out to be that way. I mean, look, the Civil War was won by what became later on the GOP, the Grand Old Party.
Yes.
And the Civil War was fought so that we would have freedom. Not just black people, all Americans. You know, and there's no greater document than our Constitution.
Amen.
But you have people here who are so stupid and who can be bought off. The thing is, like how the Democrats have been operating, and it's been like undercover for the last 40, 50 years. They've been keeping dibs on their own colleagues and Republicans. The thing is, if they have something on you, whether it be in your personal life, like having affairs or drugs or whatever,
cocaine, probably.
This is how they blackmail and get people to vote their way.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's diabolical what they're up to. You know that so many black educators, call themselves educators, have allowed the school system to not educate the children, to take away the subjects and just prepare them on how to take a test, and I tell black people this all the time: you're going to still blame the white man when this time the problems in the black community are on us. We created what you see now. We created. For example, all these people that you see, maybe around 40, 50, who are living on the edge. These are products of the crack generation. During the 80s, you had these women taking crack, and they were pregnant and still taking it. You have a lot of people, the children that were born, most of them had some form of damage, brain damage. Mm-hmm. A few might have been lucky and escaped it, but even still, the tear down of the family, the taking away of an education, that's one part of destroying the country, invading it with people, from third world countries. America wasn't like that. You had to come in legally. And the way it used to be, you had to have a sponsor if you were coming in from Europe or other places. You had to have a sponsor of someone here, who could help you out the first few months, first year or so of you being over here. Mm-hmm. You had to have a skill. And then there were health officials to make sure you weren't bringing in anything. Look at what they're doing, what is so awful about this invasion on our southern border is that it's being carried out by traffickers. These are sex traffickers, human traffickers. Excuse me, yes, they charge the ones coming from Central America $7,000 a head. They don't have the money; they have to work it off.
And we'll talk about that a little more after this commercial break on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk.
I'm tripping on my LSD, Friday night control
Producing your own podcast can be frustrating.
Test 1, 2.
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the Multi-Format Network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Hello, Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We have a new conservative show on the airwaves, and it's called Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons. That being said, I'm going to pass the mic on to my friend and co-host, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how's everyone doing today? We're just going to talk about the future, about Chicago crime and the veterans in Chicago.
Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Conservative Talk Radio with Pat and Wally. Should be a great show. We look forward to your engagement. We'll be talking about safety issues in the city of Chicago, how our veterans need help and assistance, better needed care. And also, too, very importantly, we are going to talk about the Chicago mayor that needs to be called out. I'm Pat.
I'm Wally.
And this is Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. Tune in to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. starting June 5th.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblow, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract, and the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblow at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblowlawoffice.com. Mark Sheblow can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblow, 773-775-5050.
We're back on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM with my buddy, co-host, Wally.
Welcome back.
I'm also with a great guest, and Lynn Franco. Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Yeah, I'm still here, and I just wanted to add that the Chinese illegals who are entering this country through the southern border, they pay $35,000 to the traffickers ahead. Yes, $35,000 is what the Chinese pay. And this I found out last week and the week before, and they were saying that that mostly a lot of men, they say young men, and a lot of those young men come in here illegally, and they're here to spy on us as usual. And also to be ready to take over our businesses and our way of life. This is serious.
Lynn.
And Americans, excuse me.
I think some of them could be spies, and some of them could be military personnel coming over.
Yes. Oh, yes. How is it possible? How is it possible for Chinese to have police stations here?
They're all in Chinatowns. They're all in Chinatowns.
And Joe Biden has papers, has some of his documents there, but yet the government didn't go into Chinatown. The thing is, there's a double standard, and it's clear now. There's a double standard as to how our Department of Justice has been treating people. Republicans as opposed to Democrats.
And also the Chinese bought land close to our military bases all over.
Yes, what they would do with that? Yeah, well, they're trying to set up ports in Cuba near our Guantanamo.
Yes.
They're over in Africa. I tell a lot of black people about that. They've been over in Africa for quite a while.
Yes.
Purchasing up land for little or nothing.
And also Central America, South America.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. But I don't see that. But to me, the Europeans should know better. The Europeans, they should really, really stick close to America. What got to me, see, I lived and worked in Germany for 28 years as a private citizen. I was executive secretary for some big international companies, and my late husband, Lynn Franco, was a contractor in the building industry, and I was his office manager. So what I'm trying to say is this. The Europeans know only too well the results of communism and socialism. But yet when Donald Trump became president, some of them they were so jealous of this man. They had the Trump derangement syndrome. Charles Krauthammer, who has been an analyst on Fox News, he coined that phrase. He was ingenious with that because it's so true. I never thought in all my days that I would ever run across or see so many wealthy men jealous of another wealthy man. That's just so jealous and envious to the point they would risk losing everything they have rather than to see this man, be successful in doing his job as the president of the United States. Now, a lot of these Europeans, Trump used to try and warn them when he was president. He told Angela Merkel, he asked her, why are you buying all of your energy, investing all from Russia? Why don't you invest from the United States? And then look at what happened with pipelines and things and what Russia is doing. Trump really tried to help these Europeans, but some of them was just like when he was the president and that Lord Mayor of London, this Pakistani-born man, he hated Trump. He allowed a big grotesque balloon that was supposed to look like Trump to float over London during Trump's visit. You're very ignorant. Right. These people do not realize. These people do not realize the severe danger that the world is facing now. If capitalism and democracy fail, these people are going. They won't be able to cope. They're going to really start screaming like sheep who have been lost, but they don't care because they have allowed. They're so jealous. People have been so jealous of America for so long because of our innovation, whereby America has been very, very generous to nations all over the world. But you can't stop people's feelings. If they hate you, they hate you. They don't care, even if it costs them, losing what they have. I've seen this. I've spoken with people like this before. They hated Trump so badly. I'm talking about some Americans. They hated the man so badly. And I said, well, what do you think of Joe Biden? How in God's name? I mean, if you look, like I love Elon Musk. I like him for being a maverick, for being what he is. He's a tough guy. He knows what's going on. But he said that he had voted for Biden. Now, the only reason that he voted for Biden was because he was angry at Trump. You see what I'm saying? And now he realizes what a huge mistake that was.
I guarantee you he's not going to make that mistake again.
Oh, no, he's pushing Republicans because he sees the stupidity on the side of the Democrats nowadays who are in charge. They're very stupid.
There's going to be a fight.
Stupid.
There's going to be a fight, Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg.
I wrote in September 2016 and in one of my newsletters, and I'll get it to you, that we're in a civil war, and we really are. It's being fought differently.
We're in an economic war.
Attacked. Yeah, and a morals war. I mean, look, a cultural war.
Yes, big.
The culture war is huge. And this impacts economics as well.
It's true.
When you start messing with culture, it goes deep. And America has a pretty big wide culture, but it basically was a culture of success.
We need to keep our culture.
Healthy. Excuse me?
I mean, we need to keep our culture.
Yes, there's no place in the world like America. It's unique. But yet you have all of these idiots always putting it down because they're stupid and they've been told that. You know, like I know a lot of black men feel bad about the state that how these other black criminals run rampant and how they behave, or that lack of values, any kind of values. But the thing is, you have to speak up.
Yes, always.
You know, you have to speak up and say something.
Do you think the crime will go down under this mayor, Lynn, anytime soon, or you think it's going to be just travesty?
Well, the thing is that this mayor is just this mayor is like a lot of other mayors in these big cities, like the mayor in D.C. allowing crime to run rampant. I think that this mayor, if things happen right through the courts, he should be probably fired within a year or 2 years.
I wish we could do that.
He's an idiot.
I wish we could do that. Fire our politicians.
Well, when I say fire, I mean some type of situation where he will be asked to step down because he's dangerous. He's dangerous because he's so stupid. You know, it comes from the teachers union. You know, and look at how in God's name when he was running and he first started running, he said he was going to raise taxes. That should have been a turnoff right there to any voter.
And there's more and more companies leaving Chicago.
Yes. And the middle class and the upper middle class blacks, that they don't see this. And when I try and talk with them about the situations, you know, with the children and with the crime and with these people, they have been brainwashed to distrust Republicans. They've been so brainwashed and indoctrinated. And I said, do you realize it was the GOP that fought so that we could have our freedom? You know, and I try and explain to them, these are no longer Kennedy Democrats, John F. Kennedy Democrats that you see. This is something that is really, really fake and bad and grotesque.
Lynn,
and
you know, and I know if John F. Kennedy was alive today and he was running, he would be a Republican. He's too conservative for today.
To be.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, what is his famous quote in Berlin? That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That's not a democratic liberal quote of today. Only thing they want is for the government to do for you because they want the government to control you.
Mm-hmm.
These people are awful, and I see it, and it does trickle down. Like I see it right now. With our leaders, our GOP leaders here in this state. Why is it that a lot of them don't take a more active stance to see to it that we get Republican candidates? You know, why aren't they doing that? There has to be a reason.
We got to vote them out. We got to vote them out.
Yes, we got. That's the only way. We have to get rid of these people. Because they're giving the Republican Party a bad name.
That being said, if anyone wants to run the 27th Ward, and you know your ward, look it up, that's a conservative, or in the 32nd Ward, call me at 872-315-8863. I'll help you with your campaign against Steve Bozo Bolton.
Yes, and if there's someone running in the 9th Ward who would like to, who lives in the 9th Ward, and who would like to run a Republican, let us know.
I like the way you talk, Lynn. You're my favorite guest. That's why you were here a third time.
Guys are the greatest.
You're a sweetheart. You really are.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. I think you guys are like knights in shining armor. We need young men willing to stand up and fight.
Thank you. And thank you all for tuning us in. Tomorrow we're going to have a great special guest, as always, on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk.
WCGO 1590 AM, W240EH 95.9 FM, Evanston, Chicago.